Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, known to history as Caligula, reigned over Rome from 37 to 41 AD. While most emperors committed atrocities on battlefields or in Senate halls, Caligula's reign of terror was distinctly sexual, a systematic perversion of power that turned Rome itself into his personal brothel. The imperial palace became a theater of humiliation, where political power and sexual violence became indistinguishable. Here are 5 sexual atrocities that defined history's most depraved emperor. The Vestal Virgins were Rome's most sacred women, sworn to 30 years of chastity, their purity believed to protect the city itself. Caligula didn't merely violate them, he ritualized their humiliation. In 38 AD, he summoned Vestal Maxima Cornelia to his chambers, under the pretense of state business. When she arrived, he had already staged the scene, a mock wedding altar with himself as groom. "If a Vestal may not marry," he declared to his drunken companions, "then she shall marry Rome itself, and I am Rome." What followed wasn't rape in darkness, but a ceremonial undressing before his favorite courtiers. He made her remove her sacred sash, the infula, with his own hands, an act considered sacrilege punishable by burial alive. Then he forced her to break her own vows while senators he disliked were made to watch. But his cruelty had a political edge. Cornelia's brother was a senator opposing Caligula's tax reforms. After violating her, Caligula summoned her brother the next day. "Your family's honor now resides in my bedchamber," he told him. "Shall we discuss your voting habits?" The brother voted as commanded. Cornelia, according to fragmented temple records, performed the rite of contamination, a self-purification so extreme it left her bedridden for months. Caligula had discovered his favorite formula: sexual violence plus political manipulation equals absolute control. In 39 AD, Caligula converted part of the imperial palace on the Palatine Hill into what historians discreetly call a lupanar imperial, an imperial brothel. But this wasn't for profit, it was for degradation. He commandeered the wives and daughters of prominent senators and knights, forcing them to serve as attendants in specially decorated rooms named after famous Roman goddesses. The Temple of Venus featured silk sheets and golden couches. The Cave of Diana had hunting motifs. Each woman wore a tag around her neck, listing her husband's name, rank, and debts to the imperial treasury. Caligula would entertain foreign diplomats there. "Choose any goddess you wish," he'd say, gesturing to the rooms. When a Parthian ambassador hesitated, Caligula snapped, "In Rome, even our women serve the state." The most horrific innovation was his bidding system. He'd host dinners where senators were forced to bid for their own wives' services. The highest bidder won nothing, but revealed how much he valued his dignity. The amounts were then added to their tax burdens. One senator, Gaius Appius, refused to bid for his wife. Caligula had her served the entire evening, then handed her to gladiators as a prize. "Since you value her at nothing," he said, "she shall be worth exactly that." Of all Caligula's relationships, none is more debated than that with his sister, Julia Drusilla. Ancient sources, particularly Suetonius and Cassius Dio, claim he publicly declared, "I have loved her as a wife since we shared a womb." Whether they committed physical incest remains uncertain, but Caligula staged the perception meticulously. When Drusilla married, Caligula attended the wedding and publicly kissed her with what observers called conjugal passion. He would have her recline beside him at banquets in the position reserved for wives. Most shockingly, in 38 AD, when she fell ill, he issued a senatorial decree that all citizens must pray for the health of the emperor's wife and sister. When Drusilla died that same year, Caligula's grief turned theatrical. He declared 40 days of public mourning, longer than for any emperor's actual wife. He had her deified as Panthea Drusilla, making her the first Roman woman declared a goddess. Temples were ordered to add her statue beside Jupiter's, but the true atrocity was his marriage law revision. Shortly after her death, he proposed allowing sibling marriage, as the Egyptians do, who understand blood purity better than we. The Senate rejected it, but the message was clear. No taboo was sacred, no boundary real. In 40 AD, Caligula's megalomania reached its peak. He announced he would marry, not a woman, but the goddess Juno, queen of the gods. This wasn't metaphor. He prepared an actual wedding. He commandeered the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus for the ceremony. A golden bridal couch was placed before the cult statue. Caligula, dressed as Jupiter, complete with thunderbolt scepter, lay beside it and consummated the marriage with the statue, while priests were forced to witness. But his human stand-in for the goddess revealed his true cruelty. He chose Claudia Pulchra, the last descendant of Augustus's sister, whose pure bloodline represented everything Caligula's family had usurped. He dressed her in Juno's ritual garments, placed her beside the statue, and whispered, loud enough for all to hear, "The goddess borrows your form tonight." After the ceremony, Claudia was sent to live in the temple of Juno as the goddess's earthly vessel. Visitors seeking Juno's favor had to pay Claudia for intercessions, with the money going to Caligula's coffers. When she became pregnant months later, Caligula announced Juno was blessing Rome with a divine heir. The child was stillborn. Caligula had Claudia executed for defrauding the divine. Caligula's final sexual atrocity removed gender itself as a barrier to humiliation. He began forcing senior senators to wear women's clothing and serve as his wives during extended orgies that doubled as cabinet meetings. The most documented victim was Senator Marcus Vinicius, a distinguished general who had fought in Germania. Caligula made him wear a bridal veil and stola for an entire month. During state functions, Vinicius had to sit among the women, referred to as the emperor's newest bride. Caligula would kiss him publicly, then ask visiting dignitaries, "Is my wife not beautiful?" But this was more than humiliation. Caligula was testing absolute loyalty. He forced these senator wives to divorce their actual wives and will their estates to him. Those who complied were eventually restored, though financially ruined. Those who refused faced execution. The message was clear: even your masculinity belongs to me. No dignity was too personal, no boundary too intimate for imperial violation. When Caligula was assassinated in 41 AD, the Senate attempted something unprecedented: complete damnatio memoriae, the erasure of his memory. But some things couldn't be burned or chiseled away. The living gallery victims were quietly returned to families who pretended nothing had happened. The Imperial Brothel was dismantled, its rooms converted to storage. The Temple of Juno was purified with 3 days of continuous prayers. But in dark Roman bedrooms, whispers continued. A senator would flinch when his wife touched his shoulder in a certain way. A Vestal would wake screaming from dreams of silk sheets. A once beautiful patrician would stare at statues with haunted recognition. I, Decima the historian, collected these stories from freed palace slaves before they scattered. An aged scribe who had recorded the inventory of the Imperial Brothel gave me his notes, then drank hemlock. A former guard showed me where the living statues had stood before fleeing to Gaul. The horror wasn't just what Caligula did, but what he proved possible. That one man could make an entire civilization complicit in sexual sadism disguised as imperial privilege. That senators would laugh while colleagues were raped. That priests would bless a marriage to a statue. That Rome would watch and do nothing. When Caligula was assassinated in 41 AD, the Roman Senate attempted to erase his memory. They ordered his statues destroyed and his name chiseled from monuments. But they couldn't erase what he had revealed. Sexual violence could be a system of government. His atrocities weren't random perversions, but calculated demonstrations. Each violated a different boundary. Number 1, sacred, vestals. Number 2, matrimonial, wives in brothel. Number 3, familial, incest. Number 4, divine, marriage to goddess. Number 5, gender, senators as wives. Together they created a blueprint for absolute power through absolute humiliation. A lesson later tyrants would study, though few would match Caligula's theatrical cruelty. Caligula didn't invent sexual atrocity, he merely systemized it. And any system that allows one man unlimited power will eventually produce its own Caligula. His reign proved that when power becomes infinite, so does perversion, and that the most dangerous monsters aren't those who kill in shadows, but those who make atrocity a public spectacle.